So welcome to this lecture 6 of Design and Analysis of Algorithm course. In this session, we are going to talk about greedy algorithms. And in that, we would see one problem called knapsack problem and other problems also. So let us get started. So greedy algorithm is actually is a approach of problem solving. So you know that there are various approaches. Out of this, greedy is also a special kind of approach that actually is applied into the cases when you have some optimization problems. Okay, so what is the optimization problem? So you know that if you have a problem, some computational problem, so if you provide a input instance to this, it would give you an output. Okay, for example, if I say that 312 and 412, what is the multiplication? The output would be a number. In many other cases, the output is going to be unique. Okay, output is going to be unique, but sometimes there are scenarios where answer is not unique, multiple answers are possible. Okay, and this happens in the cases mostly when you have some kind of choices. So if multiple solutions are possible, then it comes to your immediately comes to your mind that which solution is best. So that solution which is best is called the optimization problem. Okay, if you talk about is the optimized solution, and then you this kind of problem is called the optimization problem. So what could be an example? So let's assume that you have a lot of items and you want to gift it to somebody. So whatever item you can give, 2 item, 3 item, 4 item, whatever you wish to give. What is the optimum one? That depends upon the problem. Okay, so multiple, given a stock of item, you are going to draw some of them. So optimization would depend upon some of the conditions. So when there are multiple solutions possible, in that case, we say that the problem is of the optimization nature. And then there is another word that says the constraint. And sometimes what happens that optimization sometimes can say that no, there is also one condition. For example, in this particular case, if I say that you are going to gift some item to somebody, but he can only carry, for example, 10 kg, okay, of the load. So this is going to be a constraint on you, that because you want to give him the as much profit as possible, but now your weight should not exceed the 10 kg. So these kind of cases, when you want to develop a algorithm, in that cases you can apply the greedy algorithm. Once again, not in all the cases. There are some specific properties that we are going to talk about. In those cases, you can apply. So, a very important thing is this, that this greedy algorithm actually says that it is going to work into the sequence of choices, means one by one it is going to solve your problem. Okay, and with what look at best at the moment, means what happens that ultimately you want, for example, if you have some item, as in into this example only, so at the end you want to be best, but right now what is best choice for that particular item you are going to select to give him. For example, if this is the best gift, you would give him. Then given this gift, whatever remaining, based on that you can find out next best item and you can give it to him until it is possible. Understand? So what looks best at the moment means when you are developing the algorithm, in whatever your current situation is, at that situation what is the best thing that you can give. This uh, this approach is a kind of incremental, and as I told you that you proceed into the incremental way: first item, second item, third item, fourth item. And because of this incremental way proceedings, this becomes very efficient, because if n items are there, if there are n items into this particular box, so ultimately you can take only uh, n steps. Okay, because of this kind of construction, that it is incremental, one by one taking the decision. So that's why it is an efficient way to do the task, because it takes only linear time most of the time, because these operations are linear. Okay, so in nutshell, if you want to tell that the greedy algorithm makes a locally optimal choice in the hope that the choice would lead to the global optimal solution. Okay, so what ultimately you want? The ultimately global whatever the collection of items should be less than 10 kg. But right now you are picking only one by one item, and these selection of the one item is called the local solution. That locally you are finding out one item, one by one you are finding out the item, and the best item that suits to you, you are taking it and you are giving to the system. And very important property is this, that you should note this from the very beginning, that this does not always yield the optimal solution. Means optimal solution you cannot always get, because sometimes it may be possible that you may not get the optimal solution, but there are some specific properties that if you can prove that if these ingredients are there into your algorithm, then you would be able to find out the right answer. Okay. So because if you only think that greedy one is this, that right now whatever situation I have, on that situation I'm going to take the best decision, and you go into that way, so the total solution may be something better. Okay. So that is the interesting part. So greedy choice property, actually these are the two properties. The first one is a greedy choice property. It's your solution that you are going to develop. Please understand, problem is different thing and solution is different thing. We are talking about the solution. If your solution you make in such a way so that it has a greedy choice property. And what is the greedy choice property? That if you can, if when you take the locally optimal solution, you are actually going to have the globally optimal solution. Okay, the collection of the local solutions is going to give you the global solution. This is the property. It is called the greedy choice property. Next important property is the optimal substructure. Optimal substructure says that if this is the size of problem, and right now you have taken this decision, so remaining part of the problem is also the same problem, and if you can solve that particular part, and you can similar way solve that particular thing also. For example, here the solution is this, then the remaining part, whatever remaining part is this, you solve this particular part then. Okay. So it says that into the bigger problem there is smaller problem, then a smaller problem, then a smaller problem, then a smaller problem. Okay. Optimal substructure. So whatever the smaller problem you are going to make, they are also going to have the similar property. These two things if you can say, then I can tell that, and then your algorithm would give you the right solution. Make sense? Any questions? So you may be thinking that I'm talking so much theoretically, so let us see a problem, and so that the things becomes clear to you. So this particular first problem that I want to bring into you is called the activity selection problem. What is this activity selection problem? What is the activity selection problem? So let's assume that you have a lecture hall. Okay, you have a lecture hall, and in this lecture hall various activities are going to be conducted. So you are the manager of this particular lecture hall. People are coming that I want to conduct a activity one, say activity one that would start at 9 a.m. and it would go to 10 a.m. Somebody else comes that I want to start my activity from 8 to 9:30. Okay, 8 to 9:30. So somebody else comes that I want to have the activity from 9:45 to say 10:45. I have a meeting from this. So various activities are there, and a list of activities is given to you where start time and finish time is given to you. Okay, start time, and finish time is given to you. And one thing is this, that the starting time, for example, 10 to 11, if there is one event, so last time is actually open bracket. So if there is another event that is starting from 11 to 12, so they are compatible and you can schedule them one by one. And your objective is not to make it busy for the largest time, but your target is to allocate as many activities as possible. Okay. So in this setting, we are actually mathematically you can say that there is a set where 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and n activities are specified. For every activity there is a starting time and finishing time. So what is the starting time of fourth activity? S4. What is the finishing time of fourth activity? F4. Okay, you understand? So in this way you can these n items are given to you. So my target is, as I told you, that maximum size of mutually compatible activities you want to find out. Make sense? Where's the problem is clear? So you know that this. Let's assume that this is an example where how many activities we have. I think it is written 11 activities. Okay, we have 11 activities. So I don't know that you can make a set. So you can take first activity, third activity, six activity, seven activity. Try to see that whether they are compatible. If they are compatible, it's okay. So try to make bigger set, 3, 4, 9, 7, 6, 1. So you try to see that whether this is also compatible. If it is compatible, it is good. But you have to find out in that way. So essentially, if you want to analyze it, looks like that there are all the possible set. How many sets are possible? 2 to the power n sets are subsets are possible. All the possible subsets are the candidate, and you have to find out which of them are compatible, and you have to report me the largest one. Make sense? Yes. So what is the way that you find out the all the possible subsets, and out of those subsets you verify that which of them are compatible, and the remaining which are actually compatible, you say that this is the compatible set, and this is, find out which one is the high of the largest size, and you report me that as an answer. So that would be your answer. Any question on that? Clear? Make sense? Yes.
Yes, sir.
Please don't speak. You may please type. Okay, I am not listening. So can you type, please? Yes. That how can you find out? Yeah, this is the way that you actually take all the subsets, and out of those subsets you verify that okay, these are the compatible one, and in the compatible one you pick the one that has the highest size. So the one such example is this, that 3, 9 and 11 are compatible. Can you find out? 3, 9 and 11 are compatible because 0 to 6, 0 to 6, and then 8 to 12, then 12 to 16. So they are compatible. Okay. Similarly, 1, 4, 8, 11 is a larger compatible activity because here 3 items were there. Now we have an activity that has 4 things. It is larger compatible one. In fact, it is the largest one. इससे बड़ा नहीं मिल सकता. We cannot find out the more than this 4 items. And that larger compatible activity is this. So you can see that multiple answers are there. Here in our case, not a single answer is not there. So multiple answers are there. Even if you give me any of them, I'm okay. So this is the nature of the problem, that the multiple solutions are possible. And if you are satisfying my constraint, I'm happy. So you can see that multiple answers are there. So how can you create? So how much time, whatever that algorithm that I just discussed is going to take, is order of 2 to the power n. So it is an exponential algorithm, very difficult to follow. So how can you build a solution? So one solution that we are going to talk about is this, that we are going to call an greedy activity selection algorithm. This is the algorithm that we are going to talk. So this says that if multiple activities you have, okay, every activity has a starting and finishing time, you arrange the activity based on their finishing time. You arrange them based on their finishing time. So see which particular event is going to finish first. Okay. So you see that, let's assume that out of these activities, which activity is going to finish first? So you see that looks like the 4, 5, 6. This is the first activity that is finishing. Okay. Looks like that. This is the only first one is the first finishing. Okay. I think it is already arranged. Okay. It is arranged into the finishing increasing order of the finishing time. So because nobody is going to give you the things into a right order, na? It may be jumbled. So the first thing that you arrange this into order, and then you pick this particular activity. Okay, this algorithm says that number one, that arrange the things into the sorting order, increasing order of the finishing, non-decreasing order of the finishing time, and then pick the activity. So which activity I have picked? The first activity. Then can I take the second activity? Answer is no, because it is finishing at 5. How can I take it? Because it is starting at the 3. Can I take the third one? No. because it is also starting from the 0. Can I take the fourth one? Answer is yes. So I have taken the first one, I can take the fourth one. When I take the fourth one, it is ending at 7, so I cannot take the 5. I cannot take the 6. I cannot take the 7. I can take the 8 because 8 is starting from the time 8, it is finishing at 11. Now I can pick any activity that is starting after 11. So for example, this 11th one I can pick. So what is the answer? 1, 4, 8 and 11. Is it clear? So this is what the algorithm is. It says that you initially sort the things that increasing order of their finishing time, they are sort, and n items are there, so how much time is required into the sorting, and log n time. Then you find out that, let's assume that length is n. First item is selected. A is the array that tells that what are the activity I am going to do. First activity is selected. For rest of the activities, what I'm going to see, if the starting SI is greater than the finishing of the J, because whatever I have selected, J is the selected one. If the starting of that particular event is after the finishing of the selected one, then I say that I am going to include that into my thing, and I say that now I have the selected one is jth one. I do it in this way and I finish. So what is the time complexity of complete algorithm? So you know that these steps are going to take order of n time, because every step is going to take only once, so and it is going to take order of n time. But however, it needs a sorting, so total running time is going to be order of n log n. Any questions here? No? Yes, no? No? Wonderful. So this is the same thing, that actually graphical way to show all those things, that what are the time of these activities. So these boxes are showing that what is the activities that they are going to have. So when the activities are sort based on their finishing time, therefore 5, 6, 7, 11, 16. So I pick the first item. So it is selected here. When the second item came, it was starting before, so it is rejected. Third item was also starting before, so it is also rejected. Then the fourth item, I have seen that it is starting after, so it is selected. But now I would compare everything from here. So fifth item, the fifth activity is starting from before, so it is rejected. Sixth is also starting before, seventh is also starting before, but eighth is starting after, so it is selected. Similar way. Uh, Ninth is again starting before, 10th is starting before, 11th is starting after, so it is selected. So these are the selected activities. We have seen this very recently. We have seen this also. So any questions here? So it is clear that this is how it is. Now we want to show that what is the correctness of my algorithm. How can I say that my algorithm is correct? So if you want to show that your algorithm is correct, two things you have to do. Show. One is the greedy choice property. Means whenever you are going to have a choice, that choice is actually greedy. Okay. Means that is the best choice that you are going to make at that particular moment. So what happens? Let's assume that how can I show this? Any idea? So let's assume that you come up with look and try to understand that my solution assumes that the items which are coming to me, activities which are coming to me, they are sorted into the order of finishing time. Make sense? And the first activity, whichever is there in my answer, is in my answer, is there in my answer. Is it clear? First activity, and that is first activity is by this definition, that in the sorted order, first activity, whatever the first activity is, that is in my answer. Yes or no? Everybody? Yes, first answer is my answer. Let's assume that you come up with any other set, for example A, that is set of activities where the first item is not first, instead it is the kth item. You say that no, I would not start from 1, I would start from k. Make sense? Should we show that you have to select the first one, because first one is our choice property. I am greedy choice says that first select the first one. and then for the remaining one, again I'm selecting the first one, which one is the finishing. Okay. Okay. So how can I say that this is the first one is always there? So let's assume that any other answer is there where in that solution the first item is not 1, it is some k. So I say that I'm going to create another set, that is b, and b is a minus k. Remove the k from this and add 1 into that particular set. Okay. Okay, you remove the k from that particular set and put 1 that particular set. So what is the size of b? Size of b, size of b is size of a, because one item is removed, one item is added. Okay, I want to tell you that this particular solution is correct. Means this solution is there is no ink. There is no, it is compatible. This particular solution is also b, whatever solution I just created is also compatible. So how can I show that? Okay, since k is the kth one. Okay, so just try to see that I have arranged the things based on the finishing time. So k is finishing here because it is the kth item na, and first item would be finishing here. Okay, and since into a the first item is the kth one, so no finishing in the set a, nothing is finishing before this particular thing. This is the k, let's assume the first is finishing here. So all the items into the a would be finishing here. Okay, so everything is fine, and I have added one more activity that is finishing before the k. So whether this particular item which actually I have added into this particular b has any issue? Can it have any issue? Answer is, because instead of finishing here, instead k was finishing here because it was the kth item. Okay, so I have chosen the first item that finishes here. So this, there could not be any problem. This addition of this item could not be any problem. If it is not any problem and both the item are of the same size, therefore b is also a logically correct solution. Okay, is also a correct solution. Make sense? It means that whatever solution I am creating, if you can come up with any other solution, so my solution would also be equivalent to your solution. Make sense? So this is what the greedy choice property. Optimal substructure problem, again the same, using the same logic, you can say that whatever, because one item has been selected and this is the first item that I can select, it is the first finishing item. So for the remaining item, if I can find out the solution, I can attach this item into the beginning and my selection would be correct. So this is the optimal substructure problem, because I have taken the first item out, and for the remaining I can find out the solution and I can combine it. How did we show size of b, size of a? Okay, so because of the construction, so I have did this construction. The one item I have removed from a and added one item, so that's why the size is same. Okay, is it clear, Navneet? Because my construction in this particular set, one item I had removed, one item I have removed, and one item I have added. Okay, Achha, you are right. You are asking that the b could have the larger also, but my answer is, my assumption is this, that your solution is right. If your solution is right, means it is a larger size, then I am talking about that. I am going to give you this solution where the first item would be included, and this is also a right solution. And since I am going to build on the first item only, so my solution would also be of your same size. So using this logic that I am selecting the first item, I would also be able to give you the item that are at least having this particular size. Make sense? So this is the correctness. These are the two things that you have to show. Navneet, is it clear now? We are assuming that A is the correct answer. First thing, we are assuming that A is the correct answer. If the A is the correct answer, my answer, whatever answer I would have, only difference is going to be that the first item would be 1, because every time I am here blindly selecting the first item. Okay, therefore I have the first item. But you are coming, let's assume that you are coming with a new solution that does not have the first item over here, then I can construct the item in this particular way, and my claim is that this would also be an optimal solution. If you are correct, I am also correct. So I'm telling that if somebody else comes up with the right solution, I am also right. Make sense? If so, what you cannot come up with a solution that is right and I am wrong, because if you can come up with the right solution, I can also come with the solution. How do we make the assumption that there is no set larger than the one picked by our algorithm? Okay, compatibility is the issue now. How number of item that I'm talking about. So let's assume. So that's why that is the proof. The question that you are asking. Your question is this: how can I say that? Your question is that how can I say that my solution is? How do we make the assumption that there is no other set, no larger set than the one picked by our algorithm? Okay. You want to say that if I come up with the solution, I want to say that you cannot come up with the bigger one. This is your question is, Navneet? Anybody cannot come up with the bigger one. So I am telling that if you come up with a bigger one, if you come up with a bigger one, then you have the first item over here. Okay, can you assume like this? And if you have the one first item here, then you must be solving for the remaining of the problem, and there also the first item would be there. This is the optimal substructure problem. Can you see this? If you come up with any solution, your first item would be 1. Okay, and in the remaining one, for the remaining item, first item would be there. Can you see the logic? Every time you would be putting for the remaining item, the first item you would be putting over here. What is the first item? Item having the finishing time, first finishing time. So by this logic, you cannot give me any other solution. Okay. In case you can give me any other solution, for example, instead of 1 here, you can give me 2 here. Then also I can build the same size solution and I can give you the similar solution. Okay. Make sense? Okay. So this is what the logic is. So you understand this, that every time if you can come up with any other item over here, I can tell that I can put 1 over here, I can create the same size. And if you put 1, then you are into my trap. You would be giving the same solution I'm going to give you. Make sense? Okay, so this is the first thing that I wanted to discuss with you. So it was an interesting problem. What we told, that you come up with a solution that is bigger than me. Then if you are not having 1 over here, I can give you a solution of the same size having one here. So you can say, okay, no issues, because I came in with this larger size. I have also 1 here. You can tell that I also have the 1 here. Then if you are having 1 here, then you are into my trap, because I'm considering the problem in such a way. So the remaining item also you would be putting 1, 1, 1, and therefore my size and your size are going to be the same. Make sense? No need? Fine? Okay, yeah. So let us go and try to see second problem. So once again, the second problem, we are going to see the second problem. Second problem is the knapsack problem. Okay, it's a knapsack means a bag. So we have a thief is robbing a store, and he sees that there are n items. Okay, so ith item has a worth vi, but the weight wi pound. It has a weight also. Okay, it has a price, say pi is a price, and the worth is say 10 kg. So for example, the ith item, first item, second item, third item, fourth item, fifth item, what is the weight and what is the price? Okay, so first item could be say 2 kg of this is there, but it is of 500 rupees. 3 kg of second item is there, 150 rupees. 5 item are 5 kg weight item is there, 350 rupees item. If okay, and seventh item is 9 kg, say 800 rupees. So fifth item is say 7 kg, 455 rupees. So this is, everybody understand how many items are there? Let's assume that there are 5 items and these are the price that they have. So he can carry at most W pounds, means if the weight is this, he can, let's assume that he can only take 10 kg. He can only take the 10 kg. Okay. So which item he should take? Can you tell me? So everybody can tell that. I think it is very easy thing. There could be two things that I can say that there could be two kind of problem. One is called the fractional knapsack problem. Another is a 0-1 knapsack problem. Okay, two kind of knapsack problem are there. Let me tell you what they are. In the fractional knapsack problem, let's assume that 2 kg of wheat is there. Okay, 2 kg of 2 kg of wheat is there, 1 kg of gram is there. This is any other item which he can take the partial items also. In 0-1 knapsack problem, let's assume this 2 kg thing is a microwave oven. Okay, so he cannot take 1 kg. This 3 kg thing, for example, maybe what could be 3 kg? Let's assume it is a stool. Okay, 5 kg is a table. Okay, 9 kg may be dumbbell, one dumbbell. 7 kg may be, let's assume, another dumbbell. And I think it would be better that you can say that all these things are dumbbells. Okay, they are one dumbbell, 2 kg dumbbell is there, 3 kg dumbbell is there, and they are of different quality. Therefore, they are having the different price. Therefore, the price is not proportional. In the 0-1 knapsack problem, he can either pick the particular item or he can leave it. 0-1 knapsack problem. Into the fractional knapsack problem, no, the items are loose and therefore he can take whatever fraction he can. So today's class we would be seeing the fractional knapsack problem. What problem? Fractional knapsack problem. So how would you go ahead? Fractional knapsack problem. We would see the fractional knapsack problem. So how would you go ahead? So first thing would be that try to find that what is the P upon W ratio. What is P upon W? And here P upon W is 250. Here P upon W is 50. Here P upon W is 70. What is P upon W? Let me make it 800. What is this? This is 70. 72 something, like something like that. Find the costliest unit item. Correct. Yes. And then looks like that since this item, the first item that you should choose is this first one. Okay. First item you should choose is this item. So how much you can take? 2 kg. So you say, and you say that the answer would be into this particular form. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You have to tell that how much I am going to take. So you would say that 2 kg of the first item I would take, but you can take 10 kg. So 8 kg remaining. Then the next item I think would be, what would be? I think this would be the item. Okay, it is 8 kg itself. So I have done the mistake. So, but what can I do? You have to write 8 over here. Now your knapsack cannot take anything else. So you put 0, 0, 0. This is what the fractional knapsack problem. So let's assume that, let me change this question a little bit. And I say that instead of this 8, okay, I say that 7 kg of 700 rupees. If I say like this, the question remains the same, but here you got the chance to take only 7 kg. Now 1 kg is remaining. Okay. Now you can take 1 more kg over here. So which item you are going to choose? Can you tell me? I think it's this 72 rupees one, no? This item, 1 kg of that particular item. So you say that I would come here, I would take the 1 kg of this particular item. Okay. Essentially, let me tell you that actually I have, if everybody is fine with this, find the cutest. Everybody is fine with this? Yes or no? Say yes. Okay. So let me tell you that I have done a mistake, small mistake, that actually fractional mistake says that 2 kg you are taking na, out of 2 kg. So you are actually taking one complete item. You are taking 7 kg of this 7 kg, you are taking one. Okay. 1 kg of this what item? Third, what 1 kg of, again I have done the two mistakes. Okay, sorry. Okay. I have done two mistakes. So you can see the first mistake is this, that I have taken the this particular item. So I should write to, let me first write wrong thing, 0, 0, 7 and 1. This was the answer I was intended there to write. Okay, I'm sorry for that. So I should write 1 because complete item is taken. Here I have not taken nothing, so 0. Here I have taken nothing, so I write 0. Here 7 means complete item. Here 1 should not be there. 1 by 7 should come because 7 kg item were there. I have taken fraction. What fraction I have taken? 1 by 7. So similarly here, if I say that 2 items were there, 2 kg taken, the fraction was 1. So into the fractional knapsack problem, so all of you are okay with this value? Okay, I have to write 1 by 7. Is it clear? Here these values becomes 1 because I have taken them completely. So the division of item 5 is also wrong. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So still I have a problem. Rahul, still I have a problem. Is it right? It should be 75. Acha, okay. That is fine. I have not done this. Here you want to say that 75. Okay. Yes. 65. It should be 65. Okay. Okay. This would be 65. Okay. If it is 65, then all of you would agree that I would not select this item. Instead, I would select this fifth one item. Okay. One, two, third item. Instead, I would select the third item. Okay. Thank you very much for correcting me. Okay. So here I would write that I have taken 1 kg. This was the 0 kg. So I say that it is 1 by 5. Now it is right? Yes? Is it right? Yes, thank you. So this is what the answer is. I have to come up with this answer. So fractional knapsack problem, how can you show? How can you write an algorithm for this? So which item let us just quickly go there. Which item he should take? This was the problem. And two version of this particular problem, fractional knapsack problem and 0-1 knapsack problem. He can either take the complete item or leave. He can take the fraction of the item as well. So fractional knapsack problem can be solved using the greedy method, but 0-1 knapsack problem needs dynamic programming. So on some other day we would be seeing that how we can solve it. So dynamic programming actually uses this particular expression for this particular problem. So we would go into the much detail into the some other class. So right now we are focusing on what? Fractional knapsack problem, because it's a greedy algorithm class. So essentially, if you want to formulate this particular problem, so you can formulate in this particular way, that we want to maximize something called PIXI. What is PI? Price of ith item, PI. So actually what I wanted to say that, let me say that this thing that let me say that item number 1, item number 2, item number 3, dot dot dot, item number n. What is the weight of this particular item? Is W1, W2, W3, dot dot dot, Wn. What is the price of this item? Okay, price of this item is P1, P2, P3, dot dot dot, Pn. what is the fraction that I am going to select? X. So x1 fraction I'm going to take, x2 fraction I'm take, xn fraction I'm going to take. So these xn's are actually my solution, that actually I'm going to tell you that I am going to find that what are these x1 values. This is my solution. So but there is some condition that because I have taken x1 fraction, so w1 x1, I can say wi xi, and summation for all the i's should be less than or equal to capital W. Capital W is a, let's assume that the capital W is what is how much I can take, how much the thief can take. So this we want. Everybody agree with this? Everybody understand that how this weight should be less than this? But our objective is this, that when I multiply this weight with pi, because I am going to get only profit of pi xi, and here you can say that because xi is a fraction, it is going to take the value between 0 and 1 only. So it is specified here that you can take only value into the 0 and 1. So pi xi is what I'm going to get as a profit. I have to find out the summation on all the values. This is what my profit is. So so there is a typing mistake. So you can see that I want to maximize this particular quantity. Okay, I want to maximize this particular quantity subject to the constraint that this value is actually lesser than this. Okay. Any problem on that? Everybody is okay? Yes. So this is what the algorithm is, and this algorithm we have just discussed. And what we have discussed, I'm just going to remind you that whatever we have discussed, that you are to the algorithm you are going to give a vector called w's, vector called p's. What are the p's and what capital W? Sort the items in the non-decreasing order of pi upon wi. So pi is upon wi, n is equal to number of length of w. See that how many items are there. So see how many items are there. If n is equal to 1, if only one item is there, consider this particular scenario when there is only one item. So if there is only one item and the weight of that particular item is greater than w, means enough amount of thing is there, and w is say 10 kg. Okay, w is 10 kg, but w1 is 50 kg, means 50 kg item is available. So you pick, you make your bag full. But how can you take? How much you can take? 10. So what fraction it is? 10 divided by 50. So you reply W upon W1. This is your answer. Everybody is okay? Only single item was there and it was into the ample amount, then I can take this thing. But if it is not into the ample amount, means I have, if this is not the case, means item is not greater than my capacity, then I would take that item full. I can write 1. So whenever I say that W upon Wi, it is going to be less than one value. Okay. So otherwise I would take the full item. Any questions on that? Yes. Any questions on this? No? Tell me. Any questions here? No? Okay. Okay. So this was a border case that was handling that if there is only one single item. If the single item is not there, then there are two cases. What is the two cases? So W's are there, lot of W's are there, lot of P's are there, and I have capital W is there. So if lot of items are there, so I can take the first item. I can take the first item and do the processing on that. How much I have to take, and for the remaining items, I can call the same algorithm. I can call the same algorithm. Okay. So the first item I'm going to take, and you know that these items are sorted based on their the P upon W, sorted based on their P upon W. So the first item is definitely I'm going to take. Makes sense? But how much I'm going to take? How much I'm going to take? Again, I have to check that if the remaining, whatever is remaining to me, if it is Greater than that, if the availability is too much, I can take whatever I can take. Okay, if I can take whatever I can take, means if lot of items, if W, this particular quantity, if W1 is greater than W, means lot of items are available. Okay, then I am done, because I would full my my bucket, my basket, my knapsack by this particular item only. But how much I can take? I can only take W. So what is this particular fraction? W upon Wi. So I say that let me fill my bag, and remaining item I don't need. So I would give this particular answer. Any question on that? Any question on this particular line? If more items are there, so I would first, I would fill my thing, and then remaining item I don't need, I'm going to exit this particular program. Make sense? Otherwise, what do you mean by otherwise? Otherwise means, otherwise means, what do you mean by otherwise? Otherwise means, let me say, when I come into the else part, means I have W1 available, but it is not too much. So I would take it full, jitna hai, so I would take the complete item of that. But for the remaining items, but here I was telling na, W first item I had taken completely, but from the remaining one also I have to pick something. For remaining thing, what they are? They are starting from W2 onwards. Here P2 onwards. I would take those items. I would take those items W2 onwards and P2 onwards. But since this W1 was not too much, so I have taken that completely. So my bag is now have the less capacity. So W minus W1. And I call this algorithm once again that please solve this for me. Everybody understand? So for the remaining item, I'm going to find out that how much I have to pick. And what is my answer? Whatever this answer comes, I would put this answer over here in just before the one, because this item as I have taken full. So it is a recursive algorithm that is calling itself multiple number of time and try to come up and build the solution. Again, what is the running time? It need to sort the item, therefore it need n log n time, and therefore after that order of n time to do the processing, because every time only one linear step is involved, and after that we are calling the algorithm once again. So one by one it is going to take the time. So total time is order of n log n. 0-1 knapsack problem is an interesting problem that we are talking about, and here the same setting. Let's assume that you have a knapsack with the 50 kg. This is the 50 kg knapsack, and 3 items are there which he have to pick. Item of the 10 kg, 20 kg, and 30 kg, and with the value 60, 100, and 120. It is an example given in the question in the book. So what he can do? He may think that which is the most costlier. The most costlier item is 120. So he can take the 120 item. Item number 1, 30. Then after, if we take this, so 20 kg is remaining. Okay. So actually this particular thing is telling that I think again you have to, once 1 minute, we have to find out now which one is the most costlier. So can you find out 120 divided by 30, how much it is? 40. Okay. 20 divided by 100 is 50. $50 per, I think $5 I should write now. Instead of 50 I should write 5. So it is a $4, $4 per unit, $5 per thing, $6. Okay. So if you apply the same strategy that we have done, so you would select this particular item first. This particular item first. So you would put 10, and then how much remaining thing is there? 50, 40 is remaining. So you can pick any one of them, but it says that you would need to select the fifth one. So if you go pick this particular item, then you get the 20 this particular item completely. how much remaining is there, because 20 plus this 30, 20 is remaining. Okay, how much profit you got? 100 plus 60, 160, you got this particular profit. So, but can you take the third item? No, because it is of 30 kg. On remaining, you have only 20 kg. You can take. So you are stuck in this particular scenario. Whatever algorithm we have seen, that if you apply the same algorithm of the fractional knapsack, so you would stuck in this particular scenario. This is not a right scenario. So here it says that if after 10, if you have taken the 30 item 1, so the space remaining may have lesser, and you got, instead of 160, you got $180. On the same setting, if you have used however, the best setting is this, that if when you pick the second and third item, and then your profit is $220. So that's why it is an interesting thing. Here again, the combinatorics comes into the picture, that you have to find out all the combinations. So therefore, we, in these kind of scenarios, we go to the another programming paradigm, that is called the dynamic programming. And actually, this dynamic programming is going to consider all the possible things which are there, all the possibilities he is going to consider, but with a feature of storing the results which actually come into the way. And that's why if when the same result is needed, he can look up into the table and need not to solve that particular problem. So detail we would be seeing into the next class. So that's all for today. Thank you for joining.